So apparently he tweets me. All right, we're gonna take a look at this together. This is what he tweets last night. You ready for this? Let's see if we can together, if we can pick this and decipher what we're looking at here. This was on my day off, by the way, so that's why I wasn't actively checking Twitter. I didn't know that he had done this. Someone had to tell me, right? So here's what he says. Hey, they call me DSP. I'm down to do that interview this upcoming week. Let's go. And he tweets, Batman versus the Diddler. Diddle me this Batman, and it's P. Diddy with 2 things of baby oil in his hands, running around, and Batman is appalled. Okay? So, for the record, this is a meme that's been on the internet for a few days, ever since P. Diddy got arrested, and apparently is being indicted on all kinds of, like, sex trafficking charges and all kinds of crazy shit. You know, I'm not exactly sure what is going on with the situation. I don't follow that shit. So, I'm reading it. First of all, what does this have to do with this? Do either of us have any involvement with sex trafficking rings? And have any of us been arrested by the FBI? No, not to maybe on his end, at least not on my end. On my end, you know, things are pretty squeaky clean over here. There's nothing going on like that, but I don't know what's going on his end. Maybe this is him coming clean. I don't know. I really have no idea. All right. But it's very confusing, you know, why he would, like, what does this have to do with it? I have no idea whatsoever what this means. But I can tell you right now, all right, immediately, for me, I like, why is he doing it like this? Like, I'm not going to show you our DMs, right? But literally, I've been DMing this guy on and off, like maybe like once a week, once every other week, for the past month and a half, you know, and he's just not been responsive. He's ignored me, or the few times he's responded, he put up a random picture that's nothing to do with anything. You see what I'm saying? Like, so what the hell? Why would you, if he was actually, first of all, if he was serious about this and he actually does want to do an interview with me, right? Why would he publicly post it like this instead of responding to the DMs that are already open, where I've talked to him about this and he ignored me? So that's number one, makes no sense whatsoever why he would do it like this, right? Number two, what is this supposed to mean? Is this insinuating something? I really have no idea. It doesn't even make sense to post something like this because now, of course, everyone's wondering what the fuck he's talking about. Because it has nothing to do with me. That's for sure, right? It's like, what are you talking about? Here's the other thing too, right? I'm down to do that interview this upcoming week. Let's go. Who said that I wanted to interview this week? Who even, do you know my schedule? As I've already said, this week is a weird week for me. I have a 4-day streaming week that's really short, where I have to do a lot of content in a short period of time, and I don't even know what my next week's streaming schedule is. I'm currently working on getting 2 different guests on the show, and they may be in the first half of October. So if that's the case, what makes you think that now, because you decided to respond, that now I drop everything that I'm working on for you to be on the show? Like, who made you the king of the universe that you're more important, right? Like, I'll be honest with you. I mean, even if he wants to be on the show, he's not going to be on the show this week. I had no plans on doing an interview this week. I just did one last week, and I told you guys I don't want to do an interview every week. I feel like that's taking up too much of my time when I should be making progress in games and the like. So why am I going to have him on the show this week? And the answer is I'm not. Like, even if we agree to it, he's not coming on this week. That's just not happening, okay? But it's this simple, all right? You have to contact me via DMs so we can talk it out, figure out how we're going to do it, what the schedule is, all of that. It's not going to be you yelling out to the void of Twitter, hey, I want to do something. No one cares. You might as well, you see the wall that's next to you in your house right now, Rich? You can yell at that fucking wall too, and that's going to give you more of a response than me. Do you remember when Keemstar just started yelling shit out on his Twitter account and how effective that was? It wasn't effective at all, was it? What you need to do is be a professional for once in your life. Contact me behind the scenes, just like I've been sending you these DMs, and just respond and talk about it, okay? It's that simple, okay? So it's that simple, right? So I don't even know what else, you know, he's getting at here, right? This has nothing to do with me at all. This is P. Diddy, sex trafficking, and pretty much, underhanded sex things in the rap community. It has nothing to do with me at all, right? So I don't know. And again, until he actually like maybe stops being high, because I did respond to this, by the way. I don't know if it. Oh, it does. So I said, "Are you high again, Rich? You should respond to the DM instead of yelling to the public because that's what someone with brain cells remaining would do." Exactly right. I feel like this is like his brain has been addled so badly by those edibles he's eating that for some odd reason now it's dawned on him that it's a good idea to do the interview with me. I can't imagine why he would think that after, like the best time to do it would have been right after I reacted to his documentary, right? It would have been right on its heels and people would have cared. At this point, I'll be honest. I mean, there's some people who care, but not that many anymore. He waited too long, right? You got to strike when the iron is hot. The iron's not hot anymore. No one's talking about Rich. He's an afterthought. He's forgotten to the internet. The only people who watch him are people who are laughing at him as a joke. Nobody cares. For him to be on my show, right? I mean, it could go different ways. It could be, it's a completely cordial conversation, and we actually talk about things going on in each other's lives, and we find out what's actually going on with him and maybe the reason why he's basically been so bad to me over the years, and we can actually hash it out like men. And we could have an ending where it's like, well, listen, I don't like you, but I guess we can stop being at each other's throats from now on, right? Now, that's a lot of stuff coming out of Rich because Rich is the kind of guy that he says one thing and then he stabs you behind the back, right? I've told you, I reached out to this guy, all right? When it became public knowledge on the internet that his daughter was very ill, I reached out to him despite all the nasty things he said about me, and I let him know that I felt very bad about what's going on, and I wished him the best, right? And then later that day, he goes on the internet and he shitposts me on his Twitter account. As it, he thanked me for the message, and then he went and crapped on me. Then later on, it's revealed, oh, well, Phil only did that because he's trying to look good. And so I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? No, sometimes I genuinely feel bad for people. When Boogie announced his cancer, I also DM'd him to wish him the best. Right? Like when these things happen, sometimes you reach out, you say, listen, I just wish you the best. It's really sad this is happening. And the world has your back when these awful things happen. Hopefully things get better for you. No, to him, everything's a hidden agenda. Everything's like some fucking weird thing to spin for a positive way. No, Rich, that's probably what you would do. You understand? That's what a snake does. I'm not a snake. I don't care. Do you think I care about my fucking public image? No one likes me anyway. Right? So what are you talking about? It was a private message to you to wish you the best. And then you crapped on me the same day. That's not something that a fucking nice person does. You're not a nice person. And I think that's the point, is that if he comes to this interview with me, he's got some explaining to do of why he's behaved in such a heinous way over the years to me. Why is it that he feels that the only way he can make a paycheck is to rag on Darkside Phil? Because that's all it is at this point. It's like, oh, how do I get a rise out of the internet, these shitbags on the internet, and get people to watch my content today? Oh, let's do a crap on Darkside Phil stream, right? And he does it, and then the same morons show up and fucking support his shitbaggery. And, but that's it. Like, no one cares about his actual opinions about anything anymore. No one's watching his content positively. They're only there for a-logging of people, and notably him, right? So, that's what I think the purpose would be. Let's hash it out, and at least at the end of the day, we can say we had the conversation and we move on, whether it's meaningful or not, whether there's a resolution or not, right? But I don't think he's willing to do that. I think what'll happen is he'll come on, and no matter what he says in the interview won't matter, because immediately after this interview ends, he's just going to go on doing whatever he wants to do, and no matter how harmful it is. He just doesn't seem to have a conscience. He's a man without a fucking conscience. That's all I can really say. Like, that seems to be how this guy operates, right? So, anyway,